What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Innovation by the Cup, where every week we bring you innovative topics over a cup of coffee. All right, this week we're talking about SIF. Yeah, that's right, Squadron Innovation Funds. You guys have heard all about it, but what is it? All right, so let's throw it over to Kat. What is SIF?
Well, SIF is kind of one of those random things that's out there that maybe you've heard of, maybe you haven't. But realistically, SIF is your first line of effort for quick kills. Anything in your section when you're bringing a solution to an end user. Let's say it's water fountain at a guard gate, Faraday bags for a new electronic program for aviation, or some things as simple as buying material for a 3D printer to then build more projects out of. Simply put, as long as you can have it narrated as a solution driven to the end user, and it's innovative, your unit has budgets somewhere, somehow. It's go to your CPTS office and find out, and you can utilize SIF to knock out some of those projects. It shouldn't be your first go-to for anything that's a $1 million program or multi-year generational thing that's going to happen. It should be stuff that would be bought, secured, and kind of managed from there.
Yeah, so it's important to know that this is for all your innovative projects. This helps you get after some of those things that you may not be able to fund, and you really need to lean forward and try to get it done. But how much do you get? How do you find out how much you get on the wing? Chris, got an answer for us?
Yeah, so it's important to know that SIF stands for Squadron Innovation Funds, and it's really supposed to be for the squadrons. Obviously, SIF comes down from the Secretary of the Air Force Office through the MAJCOM down to the wings, and then the wings distribute accordingly. So some wings do it a little bit differently. Some have it centralized, managed centralized or centrally. Others parse it out. Others ask the squadrons in advance. They say, hey, what sort of projects do you have that are innovative? And send them up to us with the projected costs, and we'll distribute the funds accordingly. Some bases also have a spark cell, and the spark cell needs to have an annual budget and maybe some capital improvements or upgrades or equipment purchases, that sort of thing. So it's up to the wing commander, once he gets the money from the MAJCOM, or he or she, I should say, gets the money from the MAJCOM, then to disperse it accordingly. And how much does a wing get? I think it all depends, really. I've heard some wings getting 750K. I've heard some wings getting $1 million, some wings getting 450. But it just depends on either your size or what your requirements are, or where you are in the world. So it kind of depends, and it just really requires a good thought process on developing a spend plan as well. So if you have a growing number of innovative ideas and a spark cell budget and some capital improvements, get that stuff done early. I know the budget this year is a little bit far behind, so we won't be getting SIF for another week or two, and we'll have to spend it before the end of July anyway. So it's really imperative to make sure you get a spend plan.
That is right, because if you've got it laid out, when the SIF drops, you can spend it. And that's going to be important come the end of the year here soon, because they're going to be asking, what's your execution plan? Have you executed? Because the SIF's coming, and it's coming down fast. So we've talked about kind of what it is, where it comes from, how much you get, but what have we used it for? How do we know what is a good example of what we can spend this on? Oh, Cap, you got any good examples of something you spent SIF on?
Boom. Yeah. So SIF is cool. Like, you can do a bunch of neat things. Some of the startups, we last episode, we challenged you to find your people. So after you find your people, what the heck do? You can build a little spark cell. You can build, whether it be a makerspace, something on DevTech. So initially, I got started with aviators and maintenance. So we built a little VR lab with some sleds, and we put some Oculus in there and 360 video editing systems to build trainers. Last year, we had a really cool problem, which is kind of on the rare side. We had so many SBIRs and STTRs, we kind of pushed SIF to the side and realized at the end of the year, oh crap, we've been able to fund everything, because it shouldn't be your first way to go, with other sources of money. I think one of my mentors like to call it OPM, other people's money. So when it got to the end of the year, we put on a Spark Tank. we did a design sprint and a spark tank, and we had this big event, and we had the airmen come out. We did pitch coaching 2 weeks prior. Myself and some of the other innovators that are on the base, we divvied up into teams. We pulled some of the airmen, and we had them pitch their events. Little did they know that we funded all of them at the end, and we had another 10 more projects across the base, which were quick kills. We took the money that we had, we gave it directly to their RAs. They purchased the items that they needed, and those base are all those things are functioning on the base currently. I mentioned before, one of the cool ones is something you wouldn't think or you wouldn't find innovative, but bringing water to a security forces member at a guard post. It was something that was thought that was not innovative at the time, but honestly, bringing the solution to the end user is very important, and that was something neat that we got to knock out. I do want to stop my foot here that we are good stewards of taxpayer dollars. The thing about SIF and moving into these cells, we've finally been given the margin and the time to focus on what we're spending on, not turning and burning cash on things or manpower or stuff that might work. We're literally putting the effort to think the process through, design the perfect end state, and find out what fits in that to give catalyst to our airmen. That's something, this is research and development and to make lives better. And these are high impact things. And that's how I've executed SIF in the past, and I plan to keep doing it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know that you're not the only one, and I know that we're not the only ones on the call. So there's a lot of resources out there for everybody. If you've got questions about how to execute SIF or what you can use it for, go to your base comptroller. They're the ones who own SIF on your base. Unless you have a Spark cell, get with those. If you're just standing up a Spark cell, you definitely want to get in the SIF realm because that's going to be your main source of funding for a lot of things. There's a couple different ways that you can allocate it. The wing commander can withhold some for wing level projects. But again, as Chris said, this is a squadron commander led program. So this is to help drive solutions within squadrons. You want to help those folks get after that. That's what innovation funds are all about. That's how you're getting these enabled. Well, folks, that's about all we got for this week, Down and Dirty. So thanks for joining us as we talk innovation, one cup at a time. Hit us up in the comments below. Let us know what topics you want to know about, and we'll get them out to you. Catch you next week.